Welcome to the quick hitter version of Catch and Shoot 2.0. Along with Aaron Berlin, I am Otto Strong. Our featured conversation this week is with the Athletics senior writer Anthony Slater, who covers the Golden State Warriors. So we're going to talk about Steph Curry passing Wilt Chamberlain on the Warriors' all-time scoring list. We're going to talk about Steph Curry's impact that he still has with the game. And we're going to talk about one major thing that he is still wanting to do. Okay, so Monday night, Steph Curry becomes the Warriors' all-time leading scorer, drops 53 points, still obviously doesn't style, as only Steph can. Anthony, tell us, what was the moment like? What was Steph's place in history? Tell us it all.
Yeah, it's funny because with a moment like this that is coming weeks in advance, you set up different news items to drop, and Marcus Thompson, my coworker, had a story that we were going to publish when it happened. We had a more of a breaking news item that was breaking down the moment. What does it mean for Steph and the franchise, blah blah blah. And we're like, all right, he needs 19 points, probably think it's third quarter, and 10 minutes, I think there was 1:30 left in the first quarter. And you knew it early. It was 3-3-3, and he had 9 already. You're like, oh, he's 10 away, and there's still 8 minutes left in the first quarter. And you also know with Steph, when he has 3 threes early, this is going to be a huge night. And yeah, I think he had 21 in the first quarter, which in some ways was nice to just get that drama out of the way early, because it was still kind of an important game for them. They're trying to claw their way into better play in positioning. The Nuggets were in town, which was kind of the highlight of the homestand. And, at least the funny thing is at halftime he had 30 and they're down 5, because it's been the problem all season. The bench is not playing well. I think they had 1 of 8 shooting and 3 points, while Steph had 30 points at half, but stabilized in the third quarter. He has 53. They get a nice win. And when you get a nice win, you get more of a celebratory post game, which included he came in to the post game with the number behind him. Chris Mullin was on the post game Zoom and delivered a congratulations message from former players. It was definitely a cool moment for him. And anytime you're beating Wilt Chamberlain in any type of scoring record, it's pretty impressive.
Exactly. I think what happens in moments like this, you go back, you look at the records, and past. If it was any other guy, Steph passes someone on the list, but passes a guy who scored average per game 41.5. I mean, what Steph did scoring wise in 12 seasons, Wilt did in 6 seasons.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, I saw that stat last night, and it was I think it put the games up, how many games it took to get to the number. And Steph was 720 something, which it was high points per game. His is quite impressive itself, but it was next to Will. I think it was in the 400s, maybe low 400s. It was 41.5 points per game. That's just I can't even fathom something. And that's the funny thing about Will. All we remember Steph is as a Warrior. It's 12 seasons only there. He's probably only going to play there. Yeah. Wilt, the Warriors are just a little subsection right. of his history. And I mean, he held off Steph Curry for 12 seasons. That just shows you just what he did.
Yeah. Do you have any personal anecdotes about Steph? Just kind of either off of the moment or stuff that has kind of, led up to this moment?
Yeah. So I used to cover the Thunder, and he was by the end of the Durant era, which is what I covered, the end of the Durant era, he was kind of he was on the rival team that really kind of, threw the final dagger in the Warriors' heart. I can remember being, 5 feet away, basically. They put us on the scorers table in Oklahoma City from that 40-foot game-winning dagger, which was probably the signature moment of that unanimous MVP season. And when his the fandom around him was at a fever pitch. Yeah. And Oklahoma City is a loyal fan base. They did not like the Warriors generally. And that, it was never an arena where you would go in and opposing fans would take it over. And I do remember that season when Steph was on his run, there was just tons of little kids in Steph Curry jerseys. I'd never seen so many opposing jerseys in that arena. And then I went to cover the Warriors the next season. Yes, they were the Beatles. They had stars everywhere. The coach is a superstar. Draymond Green, Kevin Durant was now there. But didn't matter. Every arena you went to, it was just so many kids between the ages of 8 and 16, all wearing Steph Curry jersey, Under Armour shorts, Steph Curry shoes. And just this generation of kids that age that saw the way he was playing, it was unbelievable at the time. It still remains, but I just do remember it at that time. And I can remember a few times, I'm having a conversation with him, pregame locker room, and he's as normal a guy as you can meet. And then you're walking out of the tunnel, and the sight of him, like, these kids like start shrieking and like shaking. It was weird to be around him and know how normal he is, and then go into a public environment with him and see like the reactions he would cause. And even to him, sometimes it was like, this is kind of a little weird that I caused this reaction from people.
Yeah. And I'm going to take a second to second you on that, because for a number of years I was working basketball beat for ESPN magazine, and on occasion would get down to a game at the Garden, which is, again, as you know, not a place that visiting players tend to get a lot of dap. And same thing, kids with the little 30 jerseys and all of it, and going bonkers anytime it makes shots. So yeah, I totally get you.
I remember one time in New Orleans, we go to a practice, and it's empty arena, but there's like 4 kids, all in Steph jerseys, who are like allowed in practice. So I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And it was like, oh yeah, that's Drew Brees' kids. Steph Curry's like their favorite athlete, and they're all wearing Steph Curry jerseys, just mesmerized by him. I was like, and this is Drew Brees' like 4 kids right here. This is it just shows you kind of the reach he has.
Yeah, no, exactly. I know there's a lot to talk about the Warriors, but I want to touch on one other thing with Steph. So phenomenal career, interesting career in that a guy of his stature hasn't actually played for an Olympic team. He played for the FIBA squads that won gold medals in 2010 and 2014, but pulled out of the Brazil games because he got hurt. So what do you think? Has he? You follow him obviously more closely than we do. Is that something he's looking to do? Is it something he's looking to get on the resume? Yeah.
He really wanted to do it in 2020. I remember he breaks the hand in what that would have been like November of 2019.
Right.
And he was really pushing to get back into the season and get a rhythm again. And but at the time the Warriors had crashed out into the lottery, and he part of the reason he wanted to get back is he wanted to gain a rhythm, because he was really wanted to check that box, gold medal, get the experience. It's more than just like go win a gold medal to put it on my resume. It's like, a cool experience to be in the Olympics and to win with USA on your chest. So he really wanted to play in 2020. We all know that never happened. 2020 didn't happen. I do expect him, if it's at all possible from a health perspective and just globally possible, to even play the games. He's going to try to get in. He wants to be on that team. Steve Kerr's on the coaching staff. And, I know him and Popovich know that if Curry can play, he'll be one of the signature players on the team.
Oh, it'd be cool. It'll be cool. Last Curry question before we talk about other topics. So what do you think is more likely that he'll get next? Do you think another NBA title or another MVP? Which one do you think is more likely to happen?
Man, I don't necessarily think either is that possible. He's having an MVP type season this year. They just don't have the capabilities around him, and nobody's going to vote him MVP as like a 9 seed.
Yeah, of course.
I'll say MVP next season would seem like maybe his last chance. He is elongating his prime. He's proven to be in enough, physical shape. He's stronger, but really it's the cardiovascular. The guy can run around. I don't know the tracking stats off the top of my head, but I mean, the way he just runs around offensively is unlike anything in the NBA. And I don't know that they're going to get back to title. Maybe we'll consider them a fringe title contender next year, but like Klay Thompson off 2 just massive injuries. Draymond Green's offensive game has declined. We'll see. We'll see how they reconstruct the roster, if they try to use the Wiseman piece and the Minnesota draft pick to get more win now help in. But I'll say MVP to your question, because I could see them being in that like 3, 4, 5 seed mix next season, where maybe that doesn't lead to a title, but it's good enough to where if he has just a monster productive season like he's having right now, he's second in the NBA because of this recent scoring advantage. He's now over 30 points per game on unbelievable efficiency. That's MVP type stuff if you're in the 3, 4, 5 range. And I could see him doing that another season. So I'll go MVP.
And if you'd like to hear more from Anthony Slater, check out the full version of Catch and Shoot 2.0, courtesy of Pure Hoops Media. You can also see the video version of Catch and Shoot Quick Hitter on the Pure Hoops Media YouTube channel.